Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be back. I am in the studio by myself. Unfortunately, my husband, John, is not able to make it this week, and I am going to talk about a topic that is something that comes up often. For those of you that are not 100% sure of what I do, I work for Integrity Training Systems. It's my gym, my fitness center, and then I also do nutrition coaching. I've been a personal trainer for over 20 years. I hire trainers, I staff trainers, train trainers to become trainers. And nutrition has always been a passion. And the reason that nutrition is a passion is because I became so sick, I almost died over 20 years ago. And my road to healing and wellness came from nutrition, to be completely honest with you. I went to over 22 different doctors, and at the end of the day, the final doctor that I went to that really made the biggest impact on me, he said, "Do you know what your blood type is?" And I said, "I have absolutely no idea." And he said, "Well, let's figure that out." So he figured out what my blood type was, and he said, you're eating all the wrong foods." And I said, "Oh gosh, there's no way that's the case. I've gone to 2 registered dietitians at this hospital and this hospital, and I'm eating everything that they tell me to do because I'm just meticulous like that. I wanted to be well so bad, and I was just so ill." And I said, "No, I'm doing everything that they told me to do." And he said, "It's all wrong. You're doing all the wrong stuff." And I just looked at him like, I don't understand how that could be possible. And so he, kind of guided me a little bit. Of course, this wasn't his primary job. His primary role was to be a physician. But he practiced outside of the traditional perspective and practiced more in the functional medicine perspective and sort of homeopathics. And so he said, "No, we have to address your food first." And what was weird was when I was in his office, I kept kind of thinking to myself, like, I need him to get to the root of this. Like, we need to quit talking about the food. Like, I felt like we were wasting our time having all these discussions about food because it was like, I've already been to the dietitian. I'm already doing all that. I've got that part down. Like, I'm doing everything that they've asked me to do. And he kept addressing it, basically saying, "No, you can't do that. You have to stay away from dairy. Dairy is a big deal for you. You have to eliminate gluten. You have to eliminate sugar. You have to eliminate corn." It just went down the list. You have to eliminate pork, no peanuts, no shellfish, no beans. Just went through this whole list of things I had to eliminate. And again, that's not even his primary position. And so I left just thinking to myself, like, okay, I waited, 8 months to get into this doctor, and we left. And I felt like the only thing we really talked about was what I was supposed to eat tomorrow. And I felt sort of just discouraged and not sort of, I was very discouraged because he was kind of my last hope. I had started to lose hope. And it was just one of those things where I thought, okay, I'll do what he's asked me to do. I paid the guy. I went to see him. I had to pay out of pocket. And so I went to the grocery store and bought all of the things that he felt I should buy. And then I started studying nutrition from that point forward. And what was interesting was leading up to that point, before I would go to bed at night, I was suggested by the dietitians to bring a yogurt to bed with me, put it on ice, and have it sitting there on my bedside so that right when I would wake up, I could put that yogurt in my system, and that would give me the strength to be able to make it down the stairs. That's how sick I was. I had a 2-story house and a really steep, big stairwell. And I felt like I couldn't make it down a lot of times. And in fact, at the time, I was married, I had a previous marriage. My ex-husband, he had to carry me down the stairs multiple times just to be able to, to go. But unfortunately, he wasn't always home to be able to do that. And so I would have this yogurt, and that's how I would start my day every day to be able to build my blood sugar for the day. And it turns out that the yogurt, being dairy, it was triggering, and then the sugars that was in it, it was triggering my immune system literally the minute that I opened my eyes up. So the very minute I wake up and I open my eyes up, I'm triggering myself, even though I'm just doing everything in my power to not do that literally all day long. And then my snacks, they wanted me to do bread with peanut butter on it, and the bread was just destroying my immune system, causing just a horrible attack, in addition to the peanut butter that had the sugar and the bad oil in it. And it just had all of these terrible ingredients, not to mention I was taking in gluten. So I was just setting myself on fire every single day with these choices that I was making. And all the while I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing. So I go home and I, set myself up for the food, and I'm all ready to kind of make these changes. And I get ready, to go to bed, and I find myself feeling pretty defeated. And just, obviously that happened a number of times, because when you're that sick and you don't know if you're going to live or die, I mean, it's pretty tough. You can go through some dark thinking. But I had come, to know the Lord through the process of getting sick. And I had a night where I was just watching TV, and a pastor came on TV and said, have you lost hope? And I just kind of looked at the TV like, yes. And he said, there's hope in Jesus, and then recited a prayer to pray for salvation. And that was it. That was the commercial. That was all there was to it. And so I just went into my bathroom. I started a bath. This was that night. And I recited the prayer, and I guess gave my heart to the Lord then. And I guess you would say, and then I just started reading the Bible, and I started changing my life through faith. So by the time I had went to this doctor, I had come a long way, although I truly hadn't come a long way physically. I was kind of almost in worse shape physically, but I had come so far mentally because of the faith component and the way I was feeding on the word and how I was growing in the word. My faith was growing so much that I was healing from a mental perspective in a tremendous way, in an absolute tremendous way. And yet my body was actually worse than it was, prior to even seeing this doctor. So I wake up the next day. I don't have the yogurt. However, I do have, what he suggested. And so, I've got the flax seeds and the chia seeds, and, I've got this particular type of protein powder, and, I'm mixing it all up and having all this stuff, and I'm doing it everything. And I don't know how to explain it. It took a day, like one day, for me to notice a difference in how I was feeling. I was shaky all the time. My resting heart rate was 105. I was frail, and then I went from being super frail to gaining a ton of weight. I had never been overweight a day in my life, and I went all the way up to 140 pounds in a 6-month period of time after doing the diet that the registered dietitian had suggested, because it was all the foods that were causing my immune system to overreact. And so there's some parallels in this message and what will continue with the remainder of this radio show. So the reason why I'm explaining all of this is I'm going to talk about some topics that, really are game changing for people when you can grab a hold of it. But I've been through a lot when it comes to my health, and I've really had to go through a lot of training, a lot of education when it comes to nutrition, to really be able to be well. So when I sit down across the table from someone and they come in and they tell me that they're dealing with issues, I've been there. I've dealt with them. I may even still to this day be dealing with them. And there's a lot of sacrifices that I have to make in order to be as well as I am, and in order to be able to fulfill the call and purpose that I feel that God has for my life, which is helping people and truly serving them in what I do with Integrity Training Systems. And so ultimately, I've been able to find wellness and healing, and it all started with what was on my plate. And the sad thing is it wasn't that I was intentionally trying to eat poorly. I actually felt I was eating well in comparison to how I had ate many, many, many years ago. And that's what I find when I meet clients. They just simply don't know what to do. And some of them are actually really trying actually very hard. They're trying to do the right thing, but they just simply don't know what to do. And that's what I do. I help you to know exactly how to navigate your path to a healthy lifestyle. For more information on a 6-month nutrition program with myself at Integrity Training Systems, you can take a look at us at integritytrainingsystems.com, or to get signed up for our Masters online nutrition program that starts April the 23rd, online weekly nutrition curriculum. I would love to have you started. Take a look at that website or give us a call at 636-299-2208. And we got a great show ahead of you. Thank you guys for tuning in with me today. So what happens next, right? I have the good days worth of food. I'm doing the things that the doctor's telling me to do. I'm getting better by the day, by the hour. I'm starting to get better. There was a point in time where I just assumed I had a cancer. I had something that was just devastating enough that it was going to kill me, basically. And I started to get better by again, the day or the hour. And it had to do with every choice that I made with food. Now, I wasn't perfect. I was still having issues. I was still, there were still a lot of concerns. When I went back to see this doctor the next time, and this particular doctor, I've seen a lot of doctors in my day, but this particular doctor is Dr. Christian Wessling. He's in Webster Groves, and his office is fantastic, and they did a wonderful job. They've done a wonderful job with my clients over the years. I've sent a lot of people to them. But I have a whole host of doctors that I've worked with over the years that I believe in that have a wide, perspective on not traditional medicine, but functional medicine, which is what I typically focus on more so because I'm certified in functional nutrition. But ultimately, what ended up happening is we determined that I had an autoimmune condition. And I also, because of that autoimmune condition, have several viruses in my system. And so my viral load is very heavy. And so, unfortunately, because of the autoimmune condition, we just couldn't deal with that viral load. My body would not heal. And then we also determined that I had a toxic level of mold in my system. And still, I'm still working through the process of pulling that out of my system and, going through different therapies to get that out of my system, things like ozone therapy. I've done some chelation therapy. I'm doing some supplemental therapy to try to pull things out of me. But it's been a process. It's a layering process where you're peeling one layer off. But what I can tell you is, with all of the different people that I meet with, I just went to see Alex Chen for acupuncture before this, a traditional Chinese medicine therapist, and he prescribes herbs to me that I take every single day. Even he focuses on food. Even his focuses on food. All of the doctors that I see now focus on food. Dr. Naputi always cared about what I was eating on a regular basis. Dr. Richard Bly, he always cared about what I was eating on a regular basis. They are all different doctors. They all do different things, but it mattered to them, and they saw it as an integral part in me getting well. Why am I stressing that? Because I went to 22 different doctors, and not a single one of those doctors asked me what I ate in a day. They didn't ask. It wasn't even a factor. They tried to put me on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication, assuming it was depression and anxiety. I've never been depressed or anxious a day in my life. I'm not an anxious person. I've never been. Praise God. I feel very thankful for that. I'm also not a depressed person. I've just always found a formula to rise above, even in the heat of how sick I was. I didn't walk around depressed. I cannot count the amount of doctors that tried to put me on antidepressants and anti-anxiety, which I would refuse. There were so many different medications that I was offered and suggested, of which I did not take because none of them felt right in my heart, in my spirit, in my gut, however you want to consider it. None of it felt right. I mean, absolutely none of it. So at the end of the day, I was just in a position to where I just was treading water every day. And so when I finally found a doctor and all this whole host of doctors that, felt that they had answers, I found a renewed hope and I remained anchored to that hope. But why am I telling you all this? Because the food was the foundation. The food was the foundation that brought me back. That's what saved me. That's what pulled me out of the pit of hell. And I climbed out of the pit of hell 1 foot, 1 step at a time. I mean, literally 1 foot in front of the other, 1 step at a time. I mean, it felt so slow, so sluggishly slow, like I was in, just deep, sinking quicksand, but yet I would get a little bit further and then a little bit further. And then there would be some things that would happen to my body and I would feel like I would have setbacks, but I would challenge myself to change my food even a little bit differently and to modify and to add this food or to subtract that food. I would treat myself almost medicinally with food. And so the remainder of this radio show is going to talk about that. It's going to talk about how food is medicine to you and also how food can be poison to you. And just understanding that you have to care about the details. You have to care about what's in between the lines. You've got to be willing to fine-tooth comb it, or you're not going to get the answers that you need, the solutions for your health, for your family, for change, for your life. You're going to keep hitting the same stumbling blocks, the same triggers are going to keep coming to you if you don't start to address it head on and truly build a foundation. And the food is where you start. Balancing your nutrition. My healing journey would be nowhere had I not changed my food. I don't even know if I would be here had I not changed my food. I was moving at a rapid rate of just killing myself, basically. And so many of the foods I was eating willingly, because I was instructed to do so, they were part of it. Now, there are a lot of people out there that are eating foods willingly, and they're horrible for them. And they know that they're horrible for them, and yet they're continuing to do it. What I want to talk about next segment is poisonous ingredients in moderation, and how people feel that they're creating balance by having some foods in moderation, but they don't realize that even though it's moderation, meaning they're just moderately having it, they're only having it on occasion, they're actually still poisoning their body, and their body is going to have a response from that. So ultimately, we're going to talk a little bit about how to navigate through that. Now, this is what I do. I have a full 6-month nutrition program where I tell you exactly what to eat, where to buy it from, how to prepare it, what to do when you eat out or when you travel, what you should be drinking in a day, what vitamins and supplements you should be taking. Everything is figured out for you. I also have a 6-month online nutrition curriculum that I call a master's class. That starts April the 23rd. You can look both of these programs up on integritytrainingsystems.com. I have a very successful, very supportive staff of personal trainers that work for me at Integrity Training Systems. We offer a free personal fitness assessment to everyone that walks in the door to assess any imbalances that you have, any postural issues. We will position you in such a way that you will be safe to start working out, and we will try to release some of that structural toxicity that could be holding you back before you start an exercise program. Even if you've been exercising for years, we can help you to determine where those imbalances are, and we can strengthen you where you are weak. You are only as strong as your weakest link, and we help you to determine that. For more information on a free personal fitness assessment with Integrity Training Systems, you can call us at 636-299-2208, or again, take a look at us at integritytrainingsystems.com. More after the break. Oh, it's good to be back, guys. This is a great topic. And now we're going to talk about getting out of my world and my situation. Now we talk balance. All right. This is a topic that I'll tell you what, I get fired up about it. I just have a fire in my side about it, or inside me about it, because I think it's a lie. I really do. I think it's a lie that people tell themselves to be able to remain committed to something that they absolutely know mean them. It truly is. And so the topic of balance and the topic of moderation, it has to be put out there as a crutch to be able to keep having these damaging foods and to continue down the path of destruction for their body. Now, I will say that there are a number of people that don't realize maybe the power that food could have. And that is why I spoke what I spoke at the beginning. Here I was walking around. I had been an athlete my whole life. I didn't know half of what I needed to know about food when I was that sick. I didn't have a clue. I did everything the registered dietitian told me to do because I thought she went to college for it. She should know. And I put 30 pounds on in 6 months. And I just thought, okay, I'm dying. Something's seriously wrong with me. My lymphatic system is shutting down. What's going on? But it's the idea of having poison in moderation. Poison in moderation is still poison. So you're still poisoning yourself. You're just doing it in a moderate rate. Okay. So the inside of your body is still being impacted. And so what does that look like? What are poisonous foods? Well, it's going to be pro-inflammatory oils. It's going to be things like corn oil, soybean oil, peanut oil, canola oils, sunflower oil. Look at your foods. See what they're cooked in. See what they're made with. See what that salad dressing has in it. See what your meat was fried in. And I'm not even talking about the breading. I'm just talking about the oil that it's cooked in. What else does that look like? Sugar and dairy and gluten and these foods that create histamine responses in the body. And they also build bad estrogen in the body. They create an allergic response that truly makes it to where you're having a reaction and you're taking a medication for the reaction. And the reason you're having your reaction is because of what you're eating. And now you're having secondary reactions from the medication, all because of what you were originally eating. We're having issues with foods like gluten and not realizing that they have an opioid style response to the brain. So as soon as you try to eliminate gluten, you actually withdraw from it. So there's a reason why you're trying to talk yourself right back into having it again. These are our poisonous foods. Cured meats, sugar cured meats, bacon and ham, the processed meats like the jerkies and the things that are just super quick. Highly processed foods, the bread that's on a hamburger when you go through a drive-through. I'm not even talking about, the lack of quality in the meat, but the bread is just bad. I mean, it's horrible for you. You'd almost be better off to eat the wrapper than the bread. It is made with horrible ingredients, and it's going to cause you to crave so many other things. Even something as simple as sugar-free gum. It's packed full of chemicals. It has sugar alcohols in it. You're going to crave sugar all day long. You're going to be more hungry all day long just from eating those particular, chewing that gum or having a drink that has, sugar alcohols in it. If you're seeing erythritol in your food, you're getting a corn-based sugar alcohol. You will crave more sugar from something like that. These are the types of things that we have to look at as poison. Then there's the ultra obvious poisons like food dyes and just pure sugar, corn syrup, deep fried foods, deep fried breaded foods. These are obvious things, right? People are still eating them, though that's the thing. And what happens is someone can get on a super clean path and they can really start to see manifest change in their body and really start to see and feel differently. And their life starts to change because of it. They go on a vacation. Maybe they have a setback where they get sick. Maybe it's their birthday, something comes up and they decide they're just going to go south for a little while. They're going to do pizza. They're going to do some cookies. They're going to do some bread. They're going to do a little bit of ice cream. And the next thing you know, at the very next day, they can't stop. That little bit of moderation, that little bit of balance you created actually created an imbalance. It created an imbalance in your gut, creates an imbalance in your system, but then it creates an imbalance to where you can't stop the cravings. The next day, you can't get back into a healthy pattern. Before you know it, by 2 o'clock, you're looking for a drink, you're looking for dark chocolate, you're looking for bread, you're looking for crackers. You need something to overcome that overwhelming desire that you have. Everyone's balance is going to look different. It just is. There's no one set way. There just isn't. I mean, you have to understand that there is no one path to healing. There is no one path to a healthy lifestyle for any one particular person. That is why my program is different. So I'm not trying to create a sales pitch. I'm just saying that I try not to, it can't be the same for every single person. Sure, everybody's going to eat chicken. So if you call that the same, then it's the same. The people are probably going to eat green beans or strawberries. Sure, there's some similarities, but people need to eat at different times. They need larger or smaller meals. They need to be able to get different levels of creativity, or if they have health issues, they may need more restriction. The worst thing that you can do is set yourself up to where you get yourself on a super healthy path and you're hyper committed, you make great changes in your body, and then you just bail on it. Your system has such a negative response to that. It really does. I mean, it just goes into almost like a state of shock. And that's why your body swells so much, because it's inflammation in the body. So you have to find your set point. So what does it take for your body to create balance, to create a foundation of harmony? And it sets you up to where you're basically in a position to where you can function without cravings. You can function without feeling like you have to have something. You can go to a party and you can say, no, I value the way I feel right now and how good I feel every day more than that cheese and crackers. I value leading a healthy lifestyle more than that chocolate that's on that plate. If there was a time, like your birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, there's a special occasion and you want to have something, then have it. But if you cannot get back into a good rhythm, then you've got to really question, is that thing having you or are you having it? Who's in control? Is your flesh in control? Or are you just losing all control? Because you can't stay away from a certain food. You have a certain pattern of nutrients and it throws you off physiologically so much that you're now craving and you can't end the cravings. The greatest way to find balance and to get yourself to a better, more natural set point is that you have to find harmony in your nutrients. You have to look at what you're eating and say, where are my carbs? Where are my fats? Where are my proteins? If I'm looking at my plate and I'm only seeing a pile of carbs, I'm not going to have balance. I'm not going to have balance at all. I'm going to build my blood sugar and my blood sugar is going to fall. It's going to build rapidly. It's going to fall rapidly. I'm going to create inflammation from that. And over time, I'm going to create a lot of health issues. We need to not have an imbalance while we're trying to create balance, we need to not have an imbalance. Okay, so our nutrients always have to be structured in such a way to where the blood sugar is building at a slower rate. It's a controlled rate and it's staying extended so that your energy stays extended and your body is protected from rapid cravings because that blood sugar isn't collapsing hyper quick. That, to me, is truly the answer to balance. When you get to that position, you're not always looking for the bad food. And when you're around other people, you're not in a position to where you feel like you can't say no. You don't sit there and say, well, there's no way I can tell them that I can't eat that. You 100% can tell them you can't eat that because you don't want to eat that. You don't want to feel like that. It is not worth it to feel like that. Wow, I was at a meeting and that was the only thing they had. Then eat before you go to the meeting and don't eat what they have at the meeting. I'm on the run all the time. Okay, bring something in your car. I've got a cooler out in my car right now. I went to acupuncture. I sat there in the parking lot, I ate my green beans and my salmon, and I drove here to the radio show. So there's a way to remain healthy. But if you're not creating that pattern and you're not coming up with that process on your own, you have to find someone to help you do that. I just said in my master's class this week a quote about insanity where it was basically, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If you're continuing to do the same thing, trying this diet and that diet and this diet and that diet and never sticking with them, always feeling hungry on them, always feeling like you never find that balance, that's pure insanity. And it's not a path to wellness. It's not a path to lifelong health. And so what we've always tried to do at Integrity is treat you to become healthy. We're coaching you and teaching you for health. That's what we're trying to accomplish, okay? We are trying to coach you to health. We want you to be able to not always chase after the scale. We want you to look at your ingredients. We want you to look at your nutrients. We want you to balance your food in order to find balance within your health. When you are healthy, when your digestion is good, when your mental clarity is good, when your histamine levels are low and you're not fighting allergies, when you're not feeling chronic pain in your joints and having acidic muscles, when you're not having skin issues, you will lose weight. Weight loss comes from health. It truly does. So if your focus is on health and how to be the best you can be and as balanced as you can be for your health, you will lose weight. And if you don't need to lose weight, you will feel great because your focus is on your health. That is what we do at Integrity. We help you to find focus on your health and teach you how to do it for a lifetime. For more information on a 6-month nutrition program with me, take a look at our website at integritytrainingsystems.com. We also have information on our 6-month nutrition program that is online. It is called the Master's Program. It is a very detailed nutrition curriculum. I also discuss body and movement and exercise. I also discuss discipline and spirit. It is a weekly online message, and it is phenomenal. It is 6 months long. It is life-changing. And that is also out there on the website at integritytrainingsystems.com. As far as fitness is concerned, we have an amazing staff of trainers. We offer a free personal fitness assessment to everyone that walks in the door, where we identify any muscle imbalances that you have or postural deviations, teach you how to foam roll and stretch, get you set and ready to exercise safely. For more information on that assessment, you can call us at 636-299-2208. Hey, everybody. Great topics today about balance, about moderation, about poison. And I want to finish this show talking about a component that often doesn't get brought up, and it's a big part of what I do for nutrition one-on-one as well as in my master's program. And it's the mental set point. It's finding your mental balance. It's finding your foundation mentally. And what does it take to create that mental balance? And what types of mental poison are we taking in? So here's something that I want you to take into consideration. Your food is changing your brain, okay? It just absolutely 100% is. If you're over-consuming on gluten, if you're over-consuming on sugar, if you're taking in preservatives, if you are taking in food dyes, if you're taking in way too much sugar every single day, you are changing your brain. your neurotransmitter levels are out of balance and you're in need of that medication because you have created the imbalance with the food that you're eating. So you are physiologically changing your brain with the food that you're eating, as well as alcohol. I'll tell you that much. Of course, drugs would be the same exact way. So it's going to take changing your food to create a balance in your brain. Okay. So if you don't change the food, you can take the medication until the cows come home. You're never just like the position I was in. Okay. That position I was in where I could take all those medications, but until I changed my food, it didn't change. Now, here's the part the parallel that I talked to you about in that first segment is, remember when I came to know the Lord, I had the salvation, and all of a sudden my body wasn't actually healthier, but my mind was. I changed the toxic load in my mind and how I woke up every day. I woke up in faith. I woke up believing for healing. I woke up believing for change. I woke up anchored to hope, and I stayed anchored to hope all day long, basically because I believed in what the Bible said. Now, when you start to clean house mentally and you stop accepting poisonous ingredients, your brain will change. But then there's the exterior poisons that come in, okay? There's the what are you listening to every single day? How negative are the people in your environment? How much are they bringing you down? How much are they complaining every single day, okay? There's that. That's a poison that will literally sink you. What are you watching on TV every single day? Is it the bad report all day long? That's building you. What are you listening to? What type of music do you listen to? Does it build you up? Does it edify you? Does it make you better? Or is it really literally making you more angry? I mean, who are you spending time with? What are they doing? How toxic are they? You know, you've got to think about how you speak to yourself every day. That is part of your toxic load. That is part of the detox. You've got to clear it out. You've got to find some time for some release, and you've got to reset that just like you have to reset your metabolism. You have got to reset that mindset. Mindset changes so much. Remember, my health changed when I changed my mind first. Then we changed my food, but I changed my mind first, and that is when it started turning around. So my eyes opened to new things. It's when I was more willing and more accepting of making changes. Now, when the food came in, wow, with the mindset and the food, it was so much different. But if you keep speaking failure into your life, I've tried diets, I've tried it all, none of it works. You keep speaking that, that's all you're going to have. You know, I've always been sick. I've always had issues. Not anymore. You can be healed. There is healing out there. It's available. You know, there's so much available. The first thing you can do is start by the way that you allow yourself to speak into your life. If you have to brainwash yourself every day, faith it till you make it. Not fake. Don't fake it. Faith it till you make it. Write down a list of favor declarations. Tell yourself, I'm more than a conqueror. Tell yourself, I am healed. Tell yourself, I am well able. Tell yourself, I can do all things through Christ. Tell yourself the promises that are so clear. They're so clear as day that they're available for us. And yet we keep talking about the bad report, how bad it is, how bad it is, how bad it is. We'll never see the light of day. We will never see how good it is. It's easy to think that I might have it great, right? Oh, you got it great. You're owning your business out there. You know, you get to do that. You don't know what I have. You don't have any idea how hard it is. All of the staff members that I manage and all their different issues that they deal with on a daily basis, keeping everyone happy, everyone positive, making it to where when people come into my business, the presence of the Lord is felt and that life-changing activity is happening on a daily basis in that building. It's a weight, but you know what? I get to do that every day, just like you get to do what you get to do. It is a choice to see victory in it. It is a choice to see the good in it, to see that God has truly blessed you with breath today instead of every single part of your day being horrible and defeated. You can overcome so much by your thinking. And I'm telling you, I have been at low points before where it felt so impossible to think something possibly good could happen. It just felt impossible, but it can happen. You can overcome it. I have overcome it. Get on your food. Get with someone that can help you to change your food. Your brain will change when you change your food. When you regulate your blood sugar, you get those bad ingredients out of your body. You stop moderately putting the poison in, or you stop pouring the poison in on a daily basis. You will be better. Better for the Lord, better for your family, better for your job, better for everything you do. That call and purpose that He has for you. Guys, you gotta get yourself healthy to really enjoy all the days that He has left for you. Mindset, it's so important. Please make it a priority. Think before you speak. Think before you speak negativity into someone else's day. Think before you complain. What good is it going to do to complain? Think before you're rude to someone. How are you going to benefit that person? Walk in love. Turn the other cheek. Let God be your vindicator. Find joy in the littlest of things. And like I said, declare favor over your life, over your finances, over your health, over your family, over your business, every single day. I pray for each of you that you can grab a hold of this and you can truly feel change from it, because these principles are game changing. They truly are. They are the catalyst to a completely different life. That is truly wholeheartedly what my passion is. It is what I jump out of bed every day to do for people, is to help to be the catalyst. I'm just the servant in the process. God is doing the work to help you to manufacture a complete lifestyle change. I have a 6-month one-on-one program. I have a 6-month master's online nutrition program. We start April the 23rd. You can get signed up online. If you are interested in any form of fitness, we will do a fitness assessment on you free of charge with any of our personal trainers to get you ready. Even if you've been working out for years, we will help you to determine where those imbalances are. Now, that is all about a business and how I run a business. And that's how I keep the doors open, is talking about the business. But our business isn't just about making money. The money keeps the doors open. Our business is for the Lord, and we do serve Him in everything that we do. Our business is for changing lives for the better. Our business is for creating a pattern for people to follow that will change the trajectory of how they do everything, because they suddenly have the clarity to see things in a different light. They have the ability to be more positive. They have the ability to speak favor into their life. And it's not just faithing it until they make it. It's truly something that they feel. And some of that comes from having a connection and having faith. But even when you're at your absolute lowest, I'm telling you, get that food changed. Food can change everything. It changed everything for me. I pray blessing on each of you. I pray this message resonates with you and that you feel great change in spite of all the difficulties that are coming. You are an overcomer. God bless you and take care.